I didn't realize that I had so much to update you guys on. Trying to figure out when the Cesar Millan video came out so I can have an idea of how long it's been. So that was July 15th and now it is October 14th. It's been 3 months. It is time for an RRA update. Thank you guys so much for your patience. If you have been following along on my IG at RRAYYME, you would kind of see what's going on a daily basis. I do post RRA quite frequently on there, and I recently also updated you guys on how RRA and Nate are doing and the activities that they've been doing together. But I wanted to make a video because it has been 3 months, which is crazy how fast time is flying. Let you guys know where we are exactly at this point, fill you in on everything. So since we met with Cesar 3 months ago, you know, we learned so much from him, and it was kind of like a really good gut check in terms of what we need to be focused on, right? Like, our energy is everything, and animals pick up on that like crazy. And so it's really helped us like kind of reflect on how we're actually feeling and change our mindset on how we can train RRA, maybe look at it more in a personal growth way where we can learn and adapt, and also she's there to help us and we're there to help her. So it's this beautiful synchronicity that I think is going on in this relationship, that I feel that Nate needs her and she needs Nate. And also same with me. She's teaching me patience. She's teaching me how resilient I can be if I'm set on something. I do not give up. Trust me, there have been many times where I felt like this just isn't the right fit. You are, you know, allowed to have frustrations and feel that way. And there was many times where I felt like, you know what, this isn't working. Like, she would be much happier in a different home, just so she doesn't have to stress out every day with the person she lives with. Now, things are not perfect. Let me just preface by saying that. It's only been since February when I adopted her, so 8 months. For a dog like this who requires advanced, like expert level attention and guidance, it's going to take a long time. I foresee it taking years and years. Like, I've learned to accept that she will take 1, 2 steps forward and then 10 steps backwards, and then it's like starting over again. So it's a lot of this like back and forth, but the projection is, the hope is that it eventually goes up and eventually they can create a bond, which even till this day, right now, at this very moment, does not seem like it's possible. It is. It's just that it's going to take time. We actually had made an appointment with her vet about a month before meeting Cesar to get her on some medication for her anxiety. So we went to go see our regular veterinarian, and although he's not a specialist in dog behavior, he did help us prescribe fluoxetine to her, which is also known as Prozac, overall anxiety kind of lesser downer. Sorry for my weird English. The dose that they gave her was very low because they recommended that I make an appointment as soon as possible with VCA. They are specialists for dog behavior psychology. So this was going to be perfect. Like, we had to make this appointment. We did, but they didn't have it until months later. So in the meantime, just to help us be able to train RRA better, to ease her anxiety, we got her right away on a low prescription dose of fluoxetine. Up until the medicine started kicking in, she had this weird behavior of just waking up at like 5 a.m. and yelping from the crate, like whining, yelping in a very high-pitched sound, and it would wake me up every day. And Nate wakes up very, very early at like 3 a.m. to start doing his chores and stuff like that in his morning routine. And it would just literally give him so much anxiety because she was in her crate just like yelping. And so that has actually stopped. After 6 weeks of taking fluoxetine, that completely leveled off and stopped. She no longer does this whiny, crazy thing from her crate at 5 a.m. I can like actually sleep in for an extra hour, and that has been great. So that was what we noticed when we first put her on fluoxetine. Then we met with Cesar. We had that whole like training episode. If you haven't seen that, you can swipe up to watch it. So at that point, she had been on fluoxetine for like 9 weeks. And then after that, we, you know, started to put into practice the things that he taught us. It was really cool to see because as Caesar said, he ingrained this in her that not all men are scary and you can get past this hurdle and you can be okay. So we did the whole in and out of crate thing. We did the whole standing next to me and relax thing. It all kind of took a while for her to get there, but at the end of the day she did, and she was able to relax. You can see Nate's energy is really calm as well. Like both of them are kind of together in this moment and just accepting, being in it. It's great. But you know, as soon as I get in the picture, she obviously wants to be near me and she wants nothing to do with Nate again. So that's kind of where we're working on and figuring out. And then I had the appointment with the doctor from VCA.
Any idea of how long she was at the shelter for before you guys got her?
She was there for about a month. Because she was so scared, no one could take her out. So she was literally in that kennel the entire time until we came along. And it even took 2-3 weeks for them to get her out for a behavioral assessment test because she would just growl, lunge, bite at the people, and they couldn't even get her out till like 2-3 weeks later. So it was like a waiting process for us too, even though we were already like interested in her. And she was really, really helpful. I loved her. She asked all the right questions. She wanted to know, you know, her history, even though we don't know much about it. Like I tried to give her as much information as possible. You know, where does she hang out during the day? Is she also scared of the other dogs? And I guess what came up during this conversation that I haven't really addressed to you guys is Ara is also very, very scared of Juno. So not only is Nate a trigger, but so is Juno. When Juno is nearby, Ara immediately gets into this tense state of mind where she's like crawling to like get past her, and that kind of energy immediately triggers Juno. She wants to correct her, and that makes Ara even more scared. So it's sort of this vicious cycle that goes on with Juno and Ara. So her triggers are not knowing when or where Nate will be coming from. She doesn't like the uncertainty at all. Same thing with Juno. In this meeting, we figured out the flow of how Nate and I and the dogs work in the house, and at what point is Ara getting triggered. What the doctor suggested I do was get rid of all the triggers completely, as in make her world a lot smaller. Now I've been told this by Katie Matthews also. If you watched this previous video, he also advised in the very beginning to make her world smaller. It is essentially up to me not to put her in situations where she is triggered. So be able to give her enough space between her and Nate, so she feels safe, where she's not triggered, where she's not growling, and also that same space between her and Juno. So what we ended up doing for a little bit was we put a playpen around her current crate. Just so you guys know, her crate is her safe spot. Like she needs that as her home base. She absolutely feels 100% safe in her crate. So when I say she's in her crate and she goes to her crate and she spends a lot of time in her crate, she goes there willingly. She loves it, and it's just open all day, and that's where she usually likes to hang out on her own, not because we forced her in there, or you know, she doesn't have the freedom to roam the house. But at this point, because we're making her world smaller and keeping her away from Nate, I put this wire pen around her crate so that there's a distance there, so she feels safe for that corner. That's not where Nate's going to be or Juno can get to. So the doctor advised that every time Nate kind of passes by, he can just drop a treat from a distance, see if she takes it, She does take it, by the way, and kind of create this like trust that Nate's not gonna come near her. No matter what, just a treat. It's good. Every time he comes by, a treat, a treat.
Anxiety comes from unpredictability. Like, she doesn't know, is he gonna suddenly appear? Yeah. Where is he gonna appear? Like, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna have to get close to me? The more predictable the interaction is, and then the more predictable and positive the interaction is, the lower her anxiety level is. And that's where the positive association starts, is that he tosses me a couple of treats from a distance, and then he goes away. I'm just bringing you a gift and dropping it off. The leash and the tethering and things like that, I think, is a technique we call flooding. It's like, hey, you're forced to be with me, and maybe you'll eventually figure out that I'm not going to kill you. But the hard part for that flooding is that whole time that she's there, she's experiencing anxiety and stress. She's now spending like 30 or 40 minutes stressed out, and then eventually she gets tired and just is like, okay, I'm like super tired, so I can't even hold myself up anymore. It's actually strengthening the negative association, because now you've had 45 minutes of bad association followed by I just give up. And the giving up doesn't mean less stress. It just means I'm too tired to like do anything about this anymore.
Okay. That was actually really interesting, because it kind of goes against what, you know, Caesar was teaching Nate to do. And so because we had tried, you know, that technique a couple of times, and we noticed that she kind of reverts back to her usual self when I'm around, we decided to give this a try. She's also advised that when Nate is kind of in the background doing stuff, I need to train her to just keep her eye on me, and as long as she's looking at me and not hyper focused on Nate, I can give her a treat and reward that, because we want her a reward when she's ignoring Nate. When I ignore Nate and I'm not hyper focused on him, I get rewarded. It's a good thing. I keep doing that. Keep ignoring Nate. Just went to CVS and picked up R's medication. It's pretty crazy how it's literally the same as human Xanax and human Prozac. She suggested that we up the dose of fluoxetine a little bit, because it was on a very, very low dose, and then also prescribe her Xanax 2 times a day. This is like an immediate effect of just like soothing, calming. Since she's been on these 2 medications, she's not like zoinked out or like has no motivation or sleeping all day. No, not at all. She's still Aura. She's still excited, happy go, like I'm not gonna say happy go lucky, but she is happy go lucky with me. So she is a happy dog, and she's still got that energy and that pep in her step. So I know that it's a perfect dose of just like letting her anxiety go down a little bit more, so that we could give her the training that she needs, and she can actually take it, absorb it, and learn from it. It's been about 1 month, so you know, I will keep you posted. And we also have this incredible opportunity to work with Mark, who actually helped Simba in the very beginning. So she's gonna do this whole board and training program with him in December, and that's gonna be huge, because he's a male and he's going to be the one handling her and getting her stimulated to all the things to help her. So that's going to be another amazing update I'm going to have for you after that all happens. I'm so excited about it myself as well. I hope that I was able to shed light kind of on where we are exactly right now at this very moment. And you know, as always, I enjoy keeping you guys in the loop. If you want to follow along for daily Aura stories or updates, I always post on Instagram stories. Like, that's where I'm at every single day. So just because I'm not updating on YouTube doesn't mean I'm not updating somewhere else. So definitely check out my Instagram and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for the next update and more videos to come. And I will see you guys on the next video. Bye!